How's it going, people? Welcome back to my channel. I hope I'm live. Hope everyone can see and hear me well. Let me know in the comments. I can see there's quite a few of you in here already. Appreciate everyone locked in early. Had to block someone already, but it is what it is. Come on, G. Come on, you lot. I'm going to go through some of the comments in a bit. But obviously, couple names in the title. You've probably heard my AFTV interview after the Community Shield, and a couple of those names, there's rumours around them, or more or less certain news regarding Ceballos anyway. But with Bellerin, there's rumours around potential move to PSG. They need a right back, and to be honest, I always said PSG or AC Milan or one of them teams would suit him, considering he wants to enter the fashion world too. Looking through the comments quickly, I'm going to get through some of them. As you can see, the One Football is sponsoring me in the channel, so there's a link in the description box below. Go to that link if you haven't already and download that app. It's a nice little app. Follow the teams you want to follow and get the news notified pretty much instantly, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. More often than not, One Football is popping up before Sky Sports for me, so well done to them there. And let me know what sort of improvements you want to see them make, because they do look at the comments and they do look at the feedback. So let them know in the comments after this video is processed. And let's look at some of the comments. South London's finest in early. I have set mods. Obviously, people complained last time about people spamming and whatnot. I hope South London's finest is here right now, because like he said, he's going to be going on militant, nothing dumb, nothing disrespectful. Keep it all good. Deluded in from early. Don't know if he's still here, but I'm sure he'll log in at some point. Let's go. We're ready. Yeah, definitely early. These were a couple hours ago still. Keep supporting Turkish. He'll grow his platforms and open the eyes of more deluded fans. And you see this thing, yeah, before I do get going into some of these rumors, yeah. Obviously, post-interview and whatnot, I've been getting a lot more comments and a lot more things around my name recently. And a lot of people are saying that I should stop with this whole, if you don't agree with me, you're delusional talk. And that's not what I'm trying to project, because I can hold my hands up and say I am wrong about certain things, or I have been in the past, or I will be in the future. That's fine. When I say deluded fans, I'm talking about a certain mindset in terms of blind support and blind love for players that in reality haven't performed to what we need, and we need moving forward to get us where we are. If I say deluded fans, or if I say blind, or if you're taking offense to that, then surely you must see yourself as one of those. Because I'm not saying the rest of this fan base is deluded. There's a lot of people with their heads screwed on. There's a lot of people that understand fully what's going on. And there's a lot of people that do and don't like me. I'm not even saying that if you don't like me, you are deluded, because I can understand each to their own. And if you don't like me, you don't like me. But at the same time, we might agree on a lot of things. And I see it often on Twitter too, a lot of people that tend to be negative around me and want to tweet negative stuff and paint me in a certain light. Other tweets I see, they're saying exactly the same thing I've been saying, just in maybe a different way. Obviously, it's a different platform, but just in a different way. So I just think to myself, cool, it is what it is. I just wanted to get that out there, because a few of the consistent watchers did mention that early on as well, saying about you can't think everyone else is deluded. I don't think everyone else is deluded. I really don't. Lucas, what's up, Turkish? You think Sampdoria will win the Champions League in the next few years? Not quite sure why you're asking me that question, unless Sampdoria has been taken over or something like that. But other than that, I don't know what's going on. Chris, big up Chris, big up the beard. It is what it is. Got it shaped up the other day. These are still coming in thick and fast. Turkish was late. Yeah, I was a minute late today, man. I usually pride myself on being on time. I don't want to be one of those guys that keep you lot waiting. But here I am, obviously over 100 people in the live already. Make sure you hit the like if you haven't already. We're going to get into the topic soon enough anyway. Just looking through the comments. Let's see what's going on. Oliver, come on, G. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the love from everyone all over the gaff. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Last stream I did, it was from all over the place, man, and I loved that. I actually loved that. People from all over the world tuning in to watch. Big up Omar, I see you there. Omar, do your thing. You got the mod rights, yeah? You can do what you're doing, yeah? Because to be honest, on this website here, I can't see who's a mod and who's not. I try to be, man. Like I said, we're not all going to be right all the time. I appreciate that I'm not right all the time. I just try and keep it real. And part of keeping it real is holding your hands up when you're wrong. And I can do that when I'm wrong. So next time that I am wrong, you'll see me on this channel holding my hands up. So come on, my experience. I'll just leave it in your hands anyway, South London's finest. And there's one more. Daniel, I see your comment about you want to be mod. I'll do that soon as well. The more, the better, I guess. Ziad, I see that as well. I see you want to do it. Listen, the more I see you guys on the live streams, the more I recognize your names, the more chance you have of being a mod. Not that I see it as a privilege. I just see it as you lot are actually helping me out, I appreciate that more than you need to appreciate being a mod, in my opinion. Jamie, you're here as well. Appreciate that all the way from Ireland. Come on. Big up the Irish side. Can you be moderator? Listen, we'll leave that to the end. We'll leave that all to the end. It's not that ain't important right now. Gumsy Gums. Turkish, a lot of people fully understand you and agree with what you're saying, but just hate the delivery because it's raw, which only real men have no problem with. And yeah, I get that too. I understand that completely. And you are right. You are right. My delivery sometimes is peak. It's peak. But you see what it is, yeah? Before I went on AFTV, I thought a mixture of DT and lead judges said pretty much everything I want to say, a bit of Claude too, and they said it in different ways. Obviously, I've come in with my way, and Saturday, the delivery was extra raw because of the Hennies. Like, obviously, we just won the Community Shield, and I am happy. Do you get me? I am buying a couple of rounds of drinks and enjoying my night and living it up for once. But obviously, you move on to the next day and you realize it's just a preseason game. And when I saw all the other fans on AFTV over the moon, I just thought, obviously, I got to bring some balance to this thing, because I couldn't come here and gas the thing and become a meme a few months later or get called out on a few of my comments a few months later. But what I'd prefer is what I did, and still being called out a few months later for being wrong. Because if I am wrong, then we're going to be doing our thing in the league. And I'll happily hold my hands up and say, right, Bellerin doing his thing. Ceballos doing his thing. Arsenal, top 4, February, what? I was chatting shit back then. I don't know what I was saying. Easily can say that. But until I see it, I'm just going to keep on delivering it how I can deliver it, man. Because like you said, it is raw. Arsenal Manic. Turkish, I thought the scenes on AFTV when we won the warm-up plate was comical. They were celebrating as we'd won the Champions League. I liked your reaction. Sat there, didn't make a fool out of yourself. And you know what? It's not even like I'm trying not to make a fool out of myself. I was happy when Oba scored, that man got up. But at the end of the day, I like to see out of 90 minutes before really celebrating. And like I said, I don't need to celebrate on camera. Behind closed doors, I enjoy with the people around me, innit? I don't need to be all up in the camera celebrating to make, like you said, potentially make a fool of myself, or potentially, bust online and go viral and, get a lot of followers and all this stuff. I'm not about that. Like, my words are my thing. Like, I'm trying to project some reality to the situation. Turkish is the best from AFTV, in my opinion, because he's realistic. I try to keep it realistic. Turkish, why do you rate Van de Beek like that? Honestly, there's no difference between him and Ramsey. In fact, Ramsey is a better complete player, just more injury prone. Let me just sip my tea 1 sec, sorry. Usually I have a can of Coke, but I see people talking about diabetes and all that, so I thought, nah, let me just have a calm cup of tea for that. Van de Beek, for me, the reason I rate him is because it's actually someone I've followed for the last maybe year and a half, 2 years, and it's someone that has all the attributes needed that we need at the Arsenal Football Club centrally. For me, he's better than Ramsey. For me, Ramsey in spurts might look good, but Van de Beek has that consistency to him. Van de Beek has, if you look at, I don't even have the facts or figures in front of me, but I'm sure 2 years or 3 years out of the last 4 or 5, he's got in double digits for goals and assists. So essentially a double-double, as Americans would say. But for me, from midfield, that's perfect for what Arsenal need. Now with Ramsey, it was never a double-double thing. It was more so you'll get a decent number of goals. Yes, I know it's Dutch league, but in this league, Ramsey didn't ever score more than 10 once. maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe it is twice, but it was never enough. He was never consistent enough for me to say Van der Beek is not better than him. Van der Beek, in my opinion, is the wrong buy for Man United because he pretty much does what Fernandes does in different ways, in a different way. But for us, it would have been the one. And I think if you do 90 million outlay and get Partey and Van der Beek, I think you've gone a long way in sorting out your midfield problems. Obviously, I mentioned on Rance's channel, I was live with Rance, was yesterday, I was live with Rance, and I mentioned that topic of Van der Beek and how I'm actually slightly jealous that they got him because it's a player I've been looking out for. And he asked me about Aouar or Van der Beek, and in my opinion, I don't know as much of Aouar as I do Van der Beek, and I don't think many people do. Let's not get it twisted. Aouar like bust on the worldwide online scene pretty much this season, you know. So for me, Van der Beek is the better player, but I'm not going to be against signing Aouar because it is what it is now. I just feel like the Aouar thing is just not realistic either. I don't see us doing it. Apparently, we was in for Van der Beek and couldn't afford to even do the 40 million buyout clause. So for me, if we can't even afford to do that one, if we're not even looking at that one, which makes a lot more sense to me than Aouar, in my opinion, I'm sure he's with Bergkamp's daughter as well. I did say that on Rance's thing as well, or we've deluded earlier, but I'm sure he's with Bergkamp's daughter as well. I'm sure he would, earlier on in the transfer window, especially if, without Man United being interested, we would have been the one he wanted to come to. So I actually don't know why we didn't go in for him. It just doesn't make any sense at all. Yes, Lee, how's it going, bro? Who's been spamming in here? I hope you mods are doing your thing and getting rid of them, man. Let me know if anyone's spamming. Let me know their names. What do you think of Rashica from Werder Bremen? He had a lot of hype in the last 2 years. I'll be honest, I don't know about him. I'll do some research. Are we even linked to him? If we are, let me know. One of the realists out there. Like Omar said, if you spam once, time out, spam again, you are gone. I'll back those rules. It is what it is. You just got to move militant out there, like South London's finest said. Alex George, if we could only take one, who would you choose, Partey or Aouar? For me, it has to be Thomas Partey. As much as Aouar is definitely the more attractive signing, I think Thomas Partey is something we've been lacking a lot for a long time. Do you know what I mean? It's someone that the defense will feel safe behind, and is someone that the attack will be complemented with, in my opinion. He can distribute the ball quickly, he's efficient with it, and at the same time, defensively, he can break up play. He can get from A to B. He's athletic. In my opinion, it would be perfect. It would be perfect. And I'm not mistaken, he's Ghanaian too, and there's a massive Ghanaian community in North London, and he'd be happy here like Turkish players would be happy here, like Albanian players would be happy here too, because North London, there's massive communities from these nations, and it's like a home away from home. So Thomas Partey for me makes sense, and I feel like he could make a big difference. But like I said on Deluded's thing earlier, we actually need them pretty much 50-50. One won't excel without the other, and I don't necessarily mean that in names. I mean a DM won't really excel, or a CM won't really excel unless the AM in front of them is really doing their thing. And I think that's part of the reason I did criticize Ceballos pretty harshly after the Community Shield. I don't think he's dead. Those were the wrong words. Those were the Henny speaking. I do not think Ceballos is dead, but I do stand by him not being good enough, or not having proved himself last season. I thought, listen, moving into last season, he said himself he wants to prove himself and get back to Real Madrid. He wants to show them they was wrong and whatever else. And he still didn't perform in a team, in a midfield that was gaping the qualities he apparently possessed. And he didn't do enough. Yes, he did get a bit more consistency and a bit more about him post-restart. You do see the statistics coming out in the last 10 games of the season, but at the same time, the organisation and structure of the team post-restart, or really post-Brighton game, changed and improved a lot of players, or improved a lot of players in certain individuals' eyes and certain angles that you want to look at it. I think in the big scheme of things, you've got to credit what Arteta really done there, more so than individual players, because at the end of the day, not all teams are going to be able to pull. Well, not all teams are going to attack us like the bigger teams did in Arteta's best games tactically. You know, some of these players lack the actual quality to break down the teams that are going to sit, like the Aston Villas towards the end of the last season, or like Fulham are going to do in the first game of this season. So hopefully we have some sort of something there in the middle, because in the middle we are so stiff that something needs to be done. And hopefully we can add some steel and add some creative quality too at the same time. I wouldn't, you know, hope too much for it, because you know how it is, and you know how our hands are tied behind our back. And if, to be honest, my brethren just told me, if that is to be believed, and Arsenal, I think Van der Beek's agent said Arsenal were in talks, but they failed to come up with the money. If that stuff is to be believed, then us talking about Partey, us talking about Aouar, it is dreams. It is dreams. I'm going to do some more research into that comment after. If anyone has seen those comments from the agent, let me know in the comments, because at times I can't keep up, but I'll try and look out for it. But if he actually said that, and I'm not talking about text, I'm talking about if someone's seen a video of him saying Arsenal were interested, but we couldn't come up with the money, then it wouldn't surprise me. At the same time, a lot of people are going to say he's probably chatting shit, he's probably lying. But in my opinion, it wouldn't surprise me, because Van der Beek makes sense for us. It would have been a massive signing. He's a great player, and it's a shame that he's gone to United. And yet again, it's just someone that I would have liked to see at our club. Martin, well, there's over 400 people in here. Big up everyone in here. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Martin, appreciate the support as always. Big up Turkish. The approach of not being so hung up on individual players is a really good and positive one. Think what is best for the club to improve should be the focus. And yeah, Martin, you already know anyway. I see your comments from time to time. We engage on here quite often. You support the team quite often, and you know that some people will look at me in a certain light and call me negative. Some will look at it in a certain light and call me positive. Some will look at it and call it real, and some will look at it and call it clout chasing. It is what it is. That is the world we live in. People are going to have varying opinions, and I don't really care. I deliver it how I naturally want to deliver it. Like, I'm not a character. I'm not a wannabe celeb. I've got my 9 to 5. I'm happy in life. This is just me engaging with people, like-minded people, and some that we disagree with. And I feel like you're right, Martin. I feel like looking at the club's best interests, not Mesut Ozil's best interests, or Granit Xhaka's best interests, or Hector Bellerin's best interest. Looking at the club's best interest is the best way to look at it, you know? And if more fans did that, maybe more fans would understand where we are coming from, Martin, you know? What did I just see there? Lucas, it's time for you to bring Claude back to AFTV. To be honest, I should bring Claude on this channel, man. Me and Claude got along well. I haven't actually spoken to him in a little while, but it is what it is. Hopefully he's doing well out there. Let's see what's going on. If we sell Laka, should we replace him with a striker or move over there and invest elsewhere? And how much would Bellerin go for? I think you can get 25 mil from Bellerin, for Bellerin. And with Laka, if we do sell Laka, then it'll be interesting, because I do want to see Oba eventually up top. At the same time, people say they don't want to see him with his back to goal, but not necessarily back to goal if you have the correct wingers either side of him, because defenders will be on their back foot regardless. And certain times the wingers are coming into the box before strikers. And if Oba's the one coming in just behind the two wingers, then, you know, he'll mop up like he always used to anyway. Oba's been banging up front and from left wing. So I wouldn't worry too much there. Again, it's probably out of our reach this summer. The way we're moving, we're not moving quick at all. And like, unless we speed it up, I don't see us fixing many of the holes that we have, you know. Let me see what Kevin's saying here. As a rival fan, seeing how Arsenal operate, you always do things 2-3 years too late. Example, Laka should have been signed 2-3 years before he was. Oba's peak now will not overlap with Saka's or Pepe's. And you're right, you know, it's always that, like listen, I like hearing from rival fans too, because sometimes, a lot of the time online, you get the ones that are going to banter. But sometimes, like Kevin said there, I think that's a very realistic and down-to-earth and objective view on it. And it is right, because I've said this before. Ogba's going to be here 3 years longer. Hopefully, fingers crossed, he signs that contract. But we're not winning the league in the next 3 years. So by the time we have aspirations of winning the league, we're also going to have to replace Aubameyang in an efficient way. And to be honest, the work needs to be done now in that. I'm not saying directly replace him now, but I'm saying get players in the vital positions working well. Like example, Pepe, get him scoring in the next 2-3 years in a way where when Auba's natural transition, and slide down doesn't affect us as much, and we can still move forward and progress and achieve the goals we set ourselves 2-3 years down the line. What about Zaha? That ship sailed. I don't really like how we done that Arsenal thing earlier. I think you're whoring yourself out to other clubs, and it just doesn't sit well. For me, he's not worth the money. We need to fix other positions. Zaha, like I said, that ship has sailed. I'm just done talking with him. I talked about him enough last summer and it didn't happen. And in reality, if it was going to happen, it should have happened then. Big up Ahmed. Came here from Rancy's channel. You're the realest around. Appreciate that, bro. I try to be real, handsome hustler. And that goes way back, That was my first few interviews. I was wearing a handsome hustler hat and Robbie was shouting out in the crowd, yo, handsome hustler, come. I had to tell Robbie, no. You got to call me Turkish because calling that handsome hustler in the crowd just doesn't make sense. Everyone turning around, seeing me there. And I've never been that guy to have all eyes on me, which could surprise people. Now I'm on YouTube and now I'm saying it on live. For over 450 people here. I don't know what the likes are on, but make sure you lot are hitting the like button, subscribing, sharing, doing all of that thing. And you know what? I want to get into this as well. Because to be honest, I haven't even started on the topics yet. We're 21 minutes in. I've given you lot all a chance with the questions. I've gone through a lot of them. Keep them coming anyway, because I will be touching back on them again. Hector Bellerin. I'm surprised no one mentioned Bellerin, Like obviously he's linked with PSG and there's not many comments about him. Obviously I done that interview and I was pretty critical of him and people were pretty critical of me. But with Bellerin, I feel like for 25 mil, you sell Bellerin because at the moment, obviously Maitland-Niles has committed himself to the club, at least verbally, and he has got a few years left on his contract. So for me, you've got a decision to make with Bellerin and Maitland-Niles. You have to pick one or the other. You've got Cedric in as backup now. So you sell one or the other. You sell Kolasinac too, because I guess you got the cover there with Cedric being both-footed and Saka also being able to play left wing back. And you finance some of the moves you need to finance, So happy days, Bellerin's wanted by PSG. Obviously, David Ornstein and The Athletic broke that news today. He's got 3 years left on his contract. And my thing with Bellerin is he just hasn't really kicked on from when he first burst onto the scene, because that's what he literally did, burst onto the scene. And yet again, similar to Ozil, at first I liked him a lot. At first I gave him time. At first I said he was one of the best right backs in the league in the first couple of years when he started really picking up consistency. And I do think he finished Premier League team of the season one year. I might be wrong, but I do believe he did. And these times it was all looking well. It looked like we had a right back for the future. It looked like we had a potential captain in the long term. Obviously linked with Barca, not rejected, but dismissed those links, and all happy days. But when you look at it over the last couple of years, and I've got down here 32 starts, 14 last season, 18 the season before, it's just not good enough, especially a player that's 24, 25. Obviously his injuries not ideal, but at the same time, he's lacked the consistency upon returning over the years too. Even the year before that, 2017-18, 34 appearances, but we as a club didn't go nowhere near achieving our goals. It was as inconsistent as the last 32 games have been over the 2 years. So for me, it's just someone that has a bit of value there, and someone that, in the big scheme of things, if you believe in Maitland-Niles so much, if you want to give Maitland-Niles that position and at his age, like he wants to and like he should want to start for Arsenal Football Club, then you've got to sell Bellerin. Sell Kolasinac on top of that. You can garner probably 40 mil between them, and surely then you can go and get an Aouar or a Partey, As much as I said Partey earlier would be the one, if we get Aouar, I'm not going to be completely against it, because we have got 3, if you include Mari, centre-backs in the last, 6 months. and that's good news. Hopefully that changes the fortune on that side. Hopefully we see some quality and some shrewd work in the market that picks out some gems in Saliba and Gabriel. But there's still work to be done. There's still work to be done, and I've always said that Arteta wants to do 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, but I'm not sure what you guys think, but it looks like he's going in with a back three or a back five, however you're looking at it, and a 3-4-2-1 sort of formation. Obviously, I don't see that getting the best out of Pepe, because you want Pepe to start as wide as possible and come in. But at the same time, it seems to work well for the rest of the team, and the lack of quality we have in certain areas gets rounded, in my opinion, in that formation. So let me know what you guys think in the comments about Bellerin, because for me, if I'm going to describe him as a player, someone that, like I said, burst onto the scene, someone that had a big name coming up potential-wise, but someone that just hasn't lived up to it in recent years through a mix of inconsistency and unlucky injuries. Don't get me wrong, he has been unlucky with them. And someone that lost his passion, I think, for the game. I think he started looking at other things outside the game. Like I said before, he has done an interview on his channel. I think it was where he mentions thinking about what happens after football. That's why he's doing the fashion thing, because he's thinking about what happens after football. At the end of the day, everyone should have long-term goals, but you should have short-term goals too. You should be striving for that. You should be proving yourself now, as well as dealing with what happens then. Too much of what happens then, you're missing out on now, and you're not doing the groundwork that you need to do now in your trade. Don't get me wrong, obviously, he can go on and become famous in the fashion world after football and all that. Who knows what's to come, you know? Footballers go left, right, and centre after football. Some become pundits, some become managers, some become models, some become this, that, and everything, you know? But if I'm going to describe him as a player, he's kind of uncomfortable in possession, tactically naive. And I say that because under Wenger, under Emery, and under Arteta, he's been found out a lot, and teams go for him, you know? I'm not being overcritical here when I'm saying teams go for him. And that's just facts. And like I said against Liverpool, we've got essentially someone who doesn't want to be a right back, who's been a utility man over the years, playing left wing back in Maitland-Niles, and Liverpool, the best team in the league, still want to attack down Bellerin's side, someone that's a right back by trade. Lee, love for the super chat, Lee. Appreciate that. A big fan of mine, subscribe, to see you all the time in the chats and everything. I might as well make you mod as well. Big up Turkish, keep speaking the truth. Small part of our fan base is the problem. Cry over anything and happy with being mediocre. And that, you know what, I get that, Lee. You're right, because at the end of the day, you've got to have standards, you know. And the standards, yes, they've lowered over the years for a lot of fans, but not for me, and not for you, Lee, and not for a lot of people that watch me. You know, over 500 people now. Appreciate that. Hit the like button if you're watching, if you haven't already. There's probably 10% of haters in there. If you are in there, do what you need to do too. Appreciate the super chats coming in. Nero says, I hope Gabriel and Saliba become great players. However, they are risky signings. I feel like we should sign more Premier League proven players like Spurs. And I was speaking about this with a Liverpool fan earlier, a very down-to-earth, realistic Liverpool fan, a season ticket holder as well. He's from London, but he goes there a lot. He went to the Champions League final last year too. So no one can call him a plastic fan. But, you know, when you talk to fans of rival clubs, you get a very realistic view of your side too, especially if they're down-to-earth. And he did say Gabriel and Saliba look very good young talents, defenders that can come and become something in years to come. But he also said to really fix a backline, to really turn the corner, you need that experience one to come in. He said as much as Trent and Robertson have shone in the positions, it wasn't until Alisson and Van Dijk came in before things really started to shift around. And now Joe Gomez has a better platform to succeed because of the people around, because of the system around. So Nero, you are right. They are risky signings, but at the same time, as Arsenal fans, we've been starved of defensive acquisitions for so many years. To have 3 in 6 months under one manager, under one direction, you know, it's positive, to say the very least. That's the only way I can look at it positively at the moment, because we've needed it for so long, man. We've needed it for so long. This to me is madness. That to me is madness. Ceballos being better than Van der Beek. Obviously, they are slightly different. Well, you say they're slightly different. People will say they're slightly different, but essentially, Donny can play centre mid too, and Donny still gets up there and gets goals and assists from centre mid. So, in my opinion, Ceballos is not there with Donny. He can be one day. Don't get it twisted. He's got the attributes, the technique, and the confidence. Ceballos is very confident. He's got all of that, and he might become a great player. He just hasn't done enough in the red and white of Arsenal Football Club. And until players do enough in the red and white of Arsenal Football Club, not for Spain, not for Real Madrid, not for anyone else but Arsenal, that's when I'll start, turning my opinion around. Benham from Berlin says, don't you think every club needs people like Ty, who always think positive, but at the same time, people who are realistic or even pessimistic? You need a whole heap of fans, you need a whole heap of fans. But at the same time, sometimes clubs, not just clubs, companies can manipulate their market, can manipulate a certain aspect of their market or a certain area in their market that they might see as softer, might see as easier to manipulate, easier to utilize in terms of long-term strategy. And when you look at it like that from a business standpoint, and then you start talking about realistic and people who are more optimistic, obviously the more optimistic people are going to buy into things a lot more, and they're going to be played on a lot more. Like the clickbait out there, like the transfer rumors and the Twitter in the know that come out every season under new names and new this and that, when it's evident that no one knows fuck all about what's going on. Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein, they're the only two that get any credit from me in terms of reliable sources. And I've seen them get it wrong a couple of times too, but that is what it is. They are reliable sources. Aside from that, I feel like, yeah, it is what it is, man. Junior, anyone see the AFTV flashback of when we signed Ozil in 2013? It's crazy to think how much disdain a lot of fans have for him now compared to when we were celebrating in the streets at his signing. I think it's still balanced out there, Junior. I think not as many fans have disdain for him as you'd think. I think a lot, well, more the match-going fans and the fans closer to Arsenal in terms of location will probably be more pissed with Arsenal. Actually, that's a lie too. People have got disdain for Ozil, and you know what it is. At the end of the day, I've told the story before. I'm sure I brought a video out last year, and I've said it with Ozil. It's when he signed for the club. Yeah, the breaking news. I was at a brethren's birthday, and when it broke, I was like, nah, I'm Turkish as well. It's like, nah, Mesut Ozil. What? I went to the shop the next morning. I said, Ozil, number 11, put it on the shirt. They're like, he hasn't even been signed yet. I'm like, but he's signing. 11 is there. Put Ozil 11 on the shirt. I got it before he signed. Yeah, I was gassed like everyone else. I wasn't in the streets. Yeah, I was not in the streets, but I was one of the first few that got the shirt on the back of got the name on the back of the shirt. Over time, you see performances. You see we win an FA Cup. You see we buy Sanchez. You see we improve it, but you see 19 assists. And you also see me in interviews early on, bigging Mesut Ozil up, saying we have failed Mesut Ozil, saying we haven't built around him adequately enough for him to succeed. I've said all these things in an interview, until he signed. As soon as he signed that contract, yeah. And pardon me if I'm wrong, but in any walk of life, you sign a new contract for a greater role in any business or company, yeah, people are going to expect more from you, right? You're not just going to sign for that role and do the same thing you was doing before. Surely people will put you on a higher pedestal, yeah? Especially at Arsenal Football Club when we were tight with money until that contract. Until that contract. And then, okay, cool. Time to raise the standards. And when I raised the standards with Mesut Ozil, that's when he lowered his. And over the years, dug his heels in up until a few weeks ago when he still maintains that he's staying at the club and trying to make it seem like his shit don't stink, when in reality, he's fucked us financially in terms of wage and FFP. Not as much as, because obviously Kroenke is the first big and main problem at this club, yeah. But in terms of what Emery had to work with, wage structure wise, in terms of what Arteta has to work with, wage structure wise, who's holding that back? That's all I can ask people. Who's holding that back? Because man love Ozil and they love Arteta. Like, you know, one's holding the other back. Like, you do know that, right? Do you get me? And the sooner people see that, the sooner people start to turn around, and it's not as shocking as people think. Over 600 people there. Smash the likes, like South London's finest said. Appreciate you, man, doing the work in the chat. I'm trying to catch up with questions and whatnot. Obviously, I talked about Bellerin, and then we just went off on a tangent. And evening, guys. Obviously, like I said, let me know where you lot are all from. If you could sell 3 players, who would they be? Good question on the spot. I'm going to say, obviously, right now, Maitland-Niles is staying, so I'm going to sell Bellerin. You get 25 for him, let's say, hopefully 30 mil. Then I'd probably sell Kolasinac. It'll probably be Holding, actually, but you can't even sell Holding because man just want him on loan. But it'll be Kolasinac for me. It looks like he wants to go back to Schalke too. Hopefully, you can get a nice little 15 M's for him there. You know, I wouldn't be against that. Is that too high? Let me know. That'll be the first 2 players I sell. And then if I'm going to sell another player, it's mad. As long as we reinvest it and as long as we buy correctly, the third player you sell is like Socrates or Mustafi or Holding or Chambers or one of them defenders there, man. We've got 8 centre-backs. That would be the other one. But if you need some value, if you need to really reshape the team and whatnot, you're going to start looking at the Lacazettes of the squad and seeing how you can improve on that. But the less said on that, the better. Because in reality, Lacazette has a lot of fans out there, including me, and would rather it work than not. Damasio, I've heard his name here or there. I don't know how reliable he is, so I can't really back that. I'll look out for his name a bit more and see if we can back it later on down the line. Has AFTV ever considered a Kroenke out campaign? Kroenke made a profit during COVID-19, and with FFP relaxed, Arsenal are still no financial investment for more transfers. Not that I know of. At the same time, obviously, they was the only ones to come out and interview me last year at the little protest I'd done at the kit launch. So I do value and appreciate that. People do bang on and say they could have done more. I guess they could have, but at the same time, I guess they come from a different place than me. For me, Kroenke is all I can think about when it comes to the progression and the next few years at this club, because I feel like for too many years now it's been evident that he's been the one holding us back. So it is what it is there. I agree with this. Ornstein has got a lot wrong since Wenger and Gazidis left. Like I said, they have got a couple wrong, so I'm not even going to put hand on heart and say you can trust everything they say. That's why I don't tend to do videos on rumours, you know. Obviously, we've got some today with Bellerin and PSG. Ceballos doesn't really look like a rumour. It looks like that'll be confirmed, so I'm sure I'll bring you guys a welcome back to Arsenal Ceballos video. Like I said, over 600 people in the chat. I'm looking through comments now. Hit the like button while you guys wait. But yeah, to be honest, the next topic I wanted to talk about was Ceballos returning. Because obviously it looks like it's pretty much done. Who was it that released? Fabrizio Romano released the news, right? He released the news yesterday that loan deal's been agreed. TC7 already says, sorry, Turkish, can't agree with your views on Ceballos. I'm going to look out for what you think about it after I explain myself a bit. But with Ceballos, I feel like this is it with Ceballos. Yeah, Ceballos is a central and attacking midfielder. Yeah, and he just didn't do enough for me to understand this. I'm not saying don't get him back, because for a loan, yeah, and for someone who wants to come back, and he does improve our midfield technically, head and shoulders above anyone. I'm saying get him back. But if our fans think it's going to change the world here, it's not. He didn't change the world last year. It's not going to change the world this year. Now, what do I expect from him? What do I expect to see more from him? Listen, like I said, he's technically head and shoulders above the rest of this midfield. Centrally, definitely. He's got probably more confidence than the rest of the midfield, head and shoulders. You can see that when he gets the ball, left, right, turns, swivels. We just need to see more productivity. more ownership in bigger, well, not just bigger games, more ownership in games. You've got the confidence, get the ball. I just feel like as much as in the last 8 to 10 games, when you see the statistics that he's got the most touches, the most forward passes, that's what I want to see over the 30 games he played for us. Yes, people can say the manager and the change and whatnot, it didn't suit him. But at the same time, Emery was the one he actually liked. Emery was the one that convinced him to come here in the first place, because initially he wanted to stay at Real and do his thing. So it didn't work under a manager he liked. It seems to be working under Arteta. Do I want Ceballos back? Yes, it makes sense. But does he fix the issues? No, because I hope that the Ceballos signature doesn't stop us from going and getting Aouar or a Partey. I'm going to slow down with Aouar because I feel like that's a dream, but a Partey at least. If that stops that, then for me, I can't lie to you, man. I can't lie to you. We need to review what else we need in midfield on top of Ceballos. And that was always my thing. The deal looks like we're paying 100% of his wages. And you know what's funny, yeah? You know what's funny? Remember 3-4 weeks ago when Real Madrid rejected our loan offer for Ceballos, and the internet made it seem, like they rejected it because they want to keep him and they see something in him. And now when the rumor that he's re-signing, people are coming to me saying, what Real Madrid wanted to keep him is because he wanted to come to us. Listen, the reason they rejected it then is because we went back to them and said, we want him on loan again. This time we're not going to give you a fee because we paid 3.6 mil initially. They wanted that again. And instead of paying 100% of your wages, we're going to pay 50%. No wonder they rejected it. We've obviously come back 3 weeks later. I wonder what's happened in that 3 weeks. I wonder, was Van der Beek talked to then, like his agent said? I wonder, was Aouar investigated then? Both, if that is the case, both seem to have been dismissed in those 3 weeks. And Ceballos, we've gone back to Ceballos and said, 100% of the wages, we'll do that. I've heard we're paying the loan fee and I've heard we're not paying the loan fee. I can't confirm or deny any one of those until I do more research. We'll see when it gets finalized. But he just needs to impose himself more in games, every game. We saw a massive performance early on against Burnley last season, and they were just few and far between since then. He gassed everyone up early, and it just wasn't to be. In terms of character, I do like that he's very positive, he's strong-minded, he wants to prove himself. Around December, January, when Arteta wasn't playing him as much, and a lot of people were saying, well, it doesn't look like he likes him. It looks like he'll probably be on the way out or back to Madrid. Ceballos has mentioned that he just stuck by his guns and listened to Arteta, and he respects Arteta and rates his knowledge of football at such a young age. So obviously all of that sounds good. And in terms of coming back, yes, cool, come back, but that can't be the be all and end all. I feel like we still need to do a lot more work, and hopefully we do that work. Keep your questions coming in and all of that stuff, man, because I need to get through some of these questions. I've got a few more topics written down, but obviously as I go through them, I do want to see what you guys are saying too. This is a good question here from Pratish. Best position for Martinelli, I don't think you can say yet, but if I'm going to see how he pans out in any position, I do want to see how he pans out up front. I do see a Suarez in him, hopefully without the biting and the fucking racism and all of that shit. I do see a Suarez in him, but he can also play adequately off the left, because I feel like, I'm going to go with striker. If I'm going to pick any position that I want to see him in moving forward, I'm going to say striker, because he's so good on the ball in tight positions as well as in space. And when you're up front, tight positions, especially in tight games, you need players like that. And also the space comes when teams open up a bit. And I think he's got the best of both. Do you remember when Aubameyang was out injured in, was it January, February, I think? And Martinelli was in his place 3-4 games and scored. Well, it might have been 2-3 games. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. But he scored in those games. And I feel like that pretty much told me that, Martinelli, I want to see him evolve up front. I want to see what he can do. And keep him moving like that. I see TC still doesn't agree with my views on Ceballos. It is what it is. Look, I'll agree with this. He is better than any Arsenal midfielder. But it doesn't say much. Like I'm going to say, I said it earlier in the Ludens thing, and I said it in rants yesterday. If Cazorla in his prime, or if Cazorla at 20, whatever, 3, 24, come to Arsenal for a year, you'd know that's the man. You'd know you want that guy. If Brzezinski come, yeah, you'd know you want that guy. Fabregas, you know you'd want that guy. No two ways about it. Even Alexander Helen, you know you want that guy. These are players we've gone through in the past decade or so. Yeah, top quality midfielders technically. You know, up and down the pitch, both footed. Well, some of them are both footed. Goals, assists. They they had it all for that central midfield, attacking midfield position. Yeah, that's the measuring stick for me. And that's without me going back to the days when we used to actually win stuff. That's me just talking about the best midfielders we've had in the last decade, when in reality we haven't challenged for the top honours. So when you lot tell me Ceballos is better than any Arsenal midfielder, I'll agree with that statement. Now he is, but it's not saying much. We need to raise our standards and remember what we've had and who we've seen on the carpet to lower our standards like this. You're playing into Kroenke's hands. What would I do with Guendouzi? Let me just take a sip of water. But what I do with Guendouzi, listen, you guys know I'm a fan of Guendouzi. He's someone that I like. He's someone that I think will become a top player. He's just got attitude problems, and that's probably the thing that will stop him in the long run if anything does. Arteta has pretty much said that everyone gets a clean slate moving into next season, and I feel like, especially when you consider Mesut Ozil's views and contract situation, I feel like you've got to say that, because you can't really say going into the season Ozil ain't starting shit, he's going to the second team and that's that, because you're just going to create headlines before the season even starts, and we don't want that. Arsenal, we've had enough of that. So with Guendouzi, I do feel like he probably will get a clean slate if we manage not to sell him. But I don't see why we can't. I don't see why we can't at least get a change for him. Like, surely we can do something out there and get some money. You know, there's not been enough movement out or in, you know, either way. So I'm not sure what's going on with our negotiations and all that, but surely we can get something for some of these players. Ideally, I'd like to keep him though. But if he doesn't fix his attitude, if he doesn't win Arteta over, then I'll understand. 100%. I don't mind Ceballos if it's not at the cost of other targets too. Beast Titan, you make a point there. He's got a season under his belt, and that's why the expectation goes up. You know, he didn't live up to. This is my thing. He didn't live up to expectation last season. Like, am I wrong? Can anyone in the comments tell me if Ceballos lived up to expectation last season? And like you said, Beast, you're right. With a year experience, I expect more now. You know, not to say he's not going to do it, because he's got all the attributes to do it, and I hope he does, because he's going to benefit our club. But we'll see if he does. You know, we'll see if he does, because, like I said, you know, the expectation has gone up with that extra year under the belt. Ramirez says, I agree with you, but if we can't buy someone, he's the only player we can get on loan without paying a big transfer fee like Aouar or Coutinho. Well, yeah, I get that. You know, like I said, it makes sense regardless. It makes sense regardless to get Ceballos in. I feel like he's technically gifted, and aside from him, you can't call any other midfielder we have technically gifted. What's this one? Ghost Williams. I remember the first time seeing a bearded guy on AFTV with a Wenger out jersey. From that moment, I knew he was real. I want to become a channel member. Please add that option to your channel. I appreciate that, Ghost. I'm glad that I've kept up that reputation that shirt insinuated. You know what it is with that shirt? I had that shirt for like 8 months before. I had that shirt from early. And I always used to wear it with a jacket on, because it's not about the message at the back. You know, the message at the back for me was one that I wanted to project, that I had been projecting over years. And that Liverpool game, enough was enough for me. I feel like after Bayern Munich, Liverpool, then there was Chelsea, and then Bayern Munich again, all within a month. I just felt like, you know what? Enough is enough. And I just turned the shirt around, and the rest was history, you know. But yeah, man, walking down memory lane there. I know it was only a couple of years ago, but love for that goes. I don't even know what channel member and all that stuff is, if I'm honest with you, but I will look into that. I'm not sure what channel member is. We'll see. Do you mean that, like, when people get charged to get private videos and all that stuff, or well, not private like that, but Carter, I see you in the chat from early. Ceballos was better than many previous loan deals. He was Carter. That's because, again, when you compare him to our previous loan deals, our loan deals are dead. Who are we comparing him to? Dennis Suarez. I guess if you want to put Cedric in there too, he didn't play a game, you could put him in there too. But our loan deals, they are poor. So Kim Kallstrom, of course, if you compare him to them, we're gonna praise him. But all I can do is look at him on the pitch and whether he lived up to what I expect from that position, from that age. It's not like I don't take these things into consideration. I'm not expecting him to be fucking Cazorla in his prime. Yeah, I just expected more. Arsenal Manic Turkish, come drop by the live stream of a channel called Claude and the Bansters. Best Arsenal channel, in my opinion. Discovered them only a month ago or so. Great lads. Terry, Diesel, Claude. Well, obviously I know Claude, Terry as well. And I'm sure I've talked to Diesel before. And yeah, obviously, if everyone in here, if you don't know, that's Claude's channel. Obviously, he's not an AFTV no more. So if you don't like Claude, if you still want to listen to Claude, if you don't know where you can find Claude, that's his channel there, Claude and the Bansters. So make sure you lot go there and subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. If you miss Claude, because me and Claude, we had a lot of similar opinions. Sometimes we disagree, but we'd agree to disagree at the end. But a lot of times we would agree on a lot of subjects. So make sure. That's what I made it seem like. I lie. About channel member, I made it seem like OnlyFans, brother, about private videos. No, I didn't mean that. I'm gonna look into what channel member means later on. AJ Envoy, we definitely need to cash in on Lacazette, and in my opinion, only if we know what we're doing, only if we're going to reinvest and fix the balance in attack properly. But we're not. There's no point. Keep your comments coming in. 670 people live. Hit the like button, man. How many likes are we on? Come on, man. We've got to be on at least 200, because I can't even check right now. But if you lot ain't liking the thing, then I don't know what you lot are doing. Just 100. Big up, Turkish. This guy is the realest. I appreciate that, bro. I see you all the time as well in terms of comments and support and everything. And I appreciate it, man. I appreciate all that from everyone that does support. Jamie, I see you're doing your thing as a mod. Make sure you keep that good work up. 260 likes, that's what I like to hear, but there needs to be more, over 600 people. And pretty much the rest of the topic the last topic I wanted to discuss is what we're going to do at the back. Obviously, we've just signed William Saliba. We just signed Gabriel, and we signed William Saliba last summer, and he just come to us a couple of months ago. 290 likes, CG, appreciate the update, continue doing that. Continue liking the video. But with Gabriel and Saliba, I just want to know what you guys think about what we're going to do formation-wise. Are we going to do a 4 at the back, or are we going in with 5 like it seems to be? Because I've always thought that we're going to do 4. Always thought Arteta would want to do 4. Not that I know why, because Arteta had just become a manager, so he's probably still finding his feet. But I just thought, learning off Pep and whatnot, he would have wanted to play a 4, especially once he gets the names in. I guess before the Liverpool game, he didn't have Gabriel in, so maybe that will change things for him. Maybe we will go to a 4. We'll see. In my opinion, I just don't know. I'm not even going to give you my opinion. I just want to hear what you guys think, because Gabriel and Saliba starting together in a 4 just doesn't make sense in terms of experience and throwing them in at the deep end. So the 3 probably makes more sense with Luiz in the middle of those two, with Saliba on the right and Gabriel on the left. Let's see. Lazio. Turkish, been a long time sub to your channel for time. Big up yourself, realist Arsenal fan out there. So I think we should go for a younger, hungrier squad or experience. Also, could I get a mod? Yeah, we'll talk about that after. So you're asking me younger, hungrier squad or experience. You need the right mix. And by right mix, it needs to be the right experience too. Come on, man. Gotta keep this thing pushing North London to the world, dog. Come on, G. Come on. Where are you even from, bro? Actually, don't even tell me on here. This is so long. I see this one here. I wanted to pull that out. Turkish, you're doing an FPL vid. I'm gonna make the league by the end of the week, and I'll do an FPL video beginning of next week, or maybe on the weekend, Saturday or Sunday. I'm not sure how to do it though, man. I'm not sure whether to How would you guys, you know what, in the comments after, because I can't get through all these chats now, but in the comments after the video, let me know, would you want me to set it up with an entry fee? So everyone has to pay a certain amount to enter, and then the winner gets something, second gets something, and third gets something? Or should we just make it a friendly league where we just allow everyone and everyone on the channel in and do it like that? Let me know in the comments after the vid gets processed, not in this one right here, please. Dave Cross, you talk straight facts, bro. Keep up the good work. Appreciate that, man. AJM, boy, Turkish is crazy how there are so many ballers under 50 million. Arsenal can really get some qualities. Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's COVID-19's era as well. So teams are going to have to make, teams have lost a lot. Listen, everyone's lost a lot of money in the world, teams and clubs included. So they're going to need to recoup some of that. And if they've got any talent there, they're gonna consider offers. You know, even some of the ones you thought are comfortable in their teams and comfortable in where they are. Test the waters, man. Arsenal got to test the waters a bit more and start really. Well, it's a bit late to start flexing your muscles because our muscles ain't even there no more, looking bare light. But when we were at the pinnacle, when we were at the top, when we were even making Champions League football, we failed to flex our muscles, and that's part of what cost us in the end, man. That's part of what cost us. A bit random, but who's your favorite player ever and best player ever? If we were talking about all round, not just Arsenal, Zinedine Zidane is my favorite player ever. So many top moments in top games, and the way he went out, yeah, it could have been a World Cup. Instead, it was a headbutt, but it is what it is. I still feel like how many players are going to retire from football at the top and then go into the World Cup and drag their team to the final again? Well, him and Henry. Drag their team to the final again, just miss out, obviously, on the trophy, but headbutt a man in his chest and finish off his career there. I'm sure he got a couple month ban or something, but he's retired. Who gives a shit? If we're talking about Arsenal Football Club, listen, on one day I'd say Tony Adams, on another I'd say Dennis Bergkamp. I think one of them. I love Tony Adams for his leadership and his captaincy and winning the league in 3 different eras. I love Bergkamp for what he brought. He changed the attacking game at Arsenal Football Club, let alone open the eyes of scouts and clubs elsewhere in the league. You know, Bergkamp came, saw and conquered, and he done it in such a graceful way. Yeah, that it's going to be Bergkamp or Tony Adams for very different reasons as well. That's why I feel like I can say both of them. You can't compare them, so I say both of them. But it's not a weird question. It was a good one. What's the time now? 57 minutes in, so we'll take. Yeah, I know this, bro. I see that already. 57 minutes in, so we'll take a few more questions and then we'll get it going. Has this been what? I thought it was 35 million they wanted, because if it's 25 mil, that's what I said they wanted, and people were chatting shit to me saying, nah, we can't get him for 25 mil. Well, if Everton, someone confirm that for me. Are they getting him for 25 mil? Because if that's the case, I'm going to be upset again. I'm already upset with Doherty. Don't ask me about that one. I'm already upset with that one. And then we'll add Decore to that list as well. And it just doesn't make sense, you know. You need people in the middle. You need certified Premier League experienced people. I'm not saying he's certified enough, but he definitely would add things we don't have in the middle. Let's see what else. I've already given my opinion on Van der Beek. When the video gets processed, come back and see, but I'm vexed. That's my opinion. As an Arsenal fan, I'm vexed. A few more, I'm vexed. That's all I can say. Go back to the video and I pretty much talk about him for the first 15 minutes or so, or in the first 15 minutes or so. Henry is better than Zidane. Zidane. But listen, you see the thing with Zidane, World Cup final, that header, Champions League final, that volley, then another World Cup final, that headbutt, like different things, different types, different moments, and then you've got his moments for Real Madrid and Juventus, and you just think, nah, mad. I hear that with Maradona, and I hear that with Messi, and I hear that with all these people, all these named people are saying. Thoughts on Reece Nelson? I like Reece, 20 years of age. I still feel like I'm happy with how it's going so far. Like I said earlier on Deluded's channel, there's not many positions in this team, where I look at and I say to myself, all right, that position's solid. You know, starter and backup, that position is solid. Aside from goalkeeper, where we've got Leno Martinez, I'd say right wing, Yeah, I'd say right wing. We are all right with Pepe starting and Reece Nelson challenging moving forward in the next 2, 3 years. Who knows? Reece might develop, become the player we all want him to be, and take Pepe's place, or Pepe might do his thing, and we might have two right wingers in the end that we need to make a decision on. Or it doesn't work out, and we've still got Pepe. That doesn't work out, we move. At the end of the day, with Reece Nelson, I feel like it's perfect for him to be just behind Pepe because there's not too much pressure on him. You can see there's added pressure on people like Nketiah and Joe Willer because they're being thrust, not through no fault of their own, but because they're playing a lot more. You can realize a lot more whether they're gonna make it or they're not gonna make it. With Reece Nelson, he's got that, he's got that safety net that Pepe's in front of him. I'm only 20 years old, and he can learn from Pepe. Pepe's got a lot of attacking qualities that Reece Nelson can learn from and still add and hone into his game and develop. So hopefully, I really hope that it works out for Reece Nelson at this club because I do love his character and I love that he's Arsenal through and through. And it's always good to have Arsenal through and through. Obviously, quality is what matters in the end, but it's always good to have Arsenal through and through. Look, we're an hour in already. I'm going to give you guys 5 more minutes. Get some good questions in, and then I'm going to wrap this up. I see a Dennis Bergkamp there. Like I said, I can't argue with that one. Serious question: Ndidi or Partey? Honestly, in my opinion, I'd take Partey, and partly because if you've been a subscriber on my channel, I've been a fan of Atletico for the last 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Simeone as well. Maybe not so much a fan of their style of play, but a fan of their work rate, their determination, their tactical nous, because that's all you can call it, because you've seen them knock out some of the best teams in Europe in the Champions League at their heyday, and you've seen them win La Liga when Barca had Messi and when Real had Ronaldo at the top of their careers, and Atletico come and won the league. That's why I rate Simeone so highly. I understand people and his style of play, but yeah, that's the reason I'm going to say Partey, because I've seen a lot more of Partey, and I feel like coming from a Simeone team, he's well drilled. He knows what he will bring and what we need at this club. And I feel like, yeah, for me, if I'm going to pick, it's a good question though. I wouldn't necessarily say no to Ndidi. I think that would be a good signing too. You obviously think Ndidi with that. Well, yeah, someone says Ndidi's not good. He's too rash. Yeah, I haven't seen enough of him to make that assessment. And I haven't really talked about this, but I'll wrap it up with this. What are your opinions of Doherty to Spurs? I didn't see the video you spoke about, or which vid is it? My opinion is Doherty is one of the best right backs in the league and an Arsenal fan. And for that money, it made sense to get him. And it makes me question why we brought Cedric in if Doherty was available for such a fee. We probably didn't know, but then my question would be why we didn't know. Surely you've got to test the water. Surely you've got to understand who's available, who's coming to be available. And yeah, that's my opinion on it. The only reason I mentioned Aurier in the AFTV interview, which blew up, is because Tottenham are improving on a position I already think they're better than us. And that was my point, but I'll leave that one to another day, because if I start getting into it, people are just going to start bitching and moaning again and snipping me out. But listen, people, yeah, love for tuning in, love for all the questions, love for the support. Hit the like button, please, before you guys leave. Still over 600 people logged in. Add me on Insta, add me on Twitter, Turkish LDN. Look out for what will probably be my next video, which is Danny Ceballos re-signing for Arsenal for another year. Download OneFootball, link in the description box below. When it comes back, comment, let me know what you thought of the video, because this live chat disappears. Love for all the super chats, love for all the comments, love for all the supports. Thanks for the mods as well. Obviously, this is the first time. Jamie, Omar, South London's finest. Love for that. I didn't see no spamming. Appreciate that, guys. I'll try let you guys know well in advance when I am doing live, so you lot can be here. But Martin, I see you there. CG, all of that. South London's finest. Ramiz, Kazod, Zinclair, Omar. Later, people. I am out. Until the next.